singers, it's Laura. This is the weekly warm-up where I share clear, fun voice education so you can enjoy your singing even more. Now today, I'm not going to share with you a specific vocal exercise. I actually want to talk to you about water. The water that you may be drinking during rehearsals or during your practice sessions or your voice lessons. You may expect me to say, keep it up, make sure you're drinking as much as you can. But actually, I want to tell you the opposite. I think that you should not need to drink a lot of water while you are singing, and I'd like to explain why. Now, let me begin by saying that I am not saying this to criticize you, to tell you that you're doing something wrong, or to make you feel bad about yourself. But a lot of us think that drinking water while we sing is a virtue and a necessity, and I want to show you that it doesn't make logical sense, and also that thinking you need to drink water all the time may be covering up some technical work that you need to do to improve your singing to the next level. So let's get into it. First, let's just debunk this idea that we need to drink to hydrate our voices during rehearsals. Now, you know, I'm sure if you think about it, that there are two different pipes in your throat, one for air and one for food and water. And so when we drink, it's not going down the air pipe onto the vocal cords. If it did, you would choke. So that water is not going to directly hydrate the cords. In fact, the only way to directly hydrate the cords is with steam or nebulized like water vapor, which I'm sure you're not doing during rehearsal. So yes, this water that you drink will hydrate your cords eventually, but not until it's had a chance to go down into the stomach, through the stomach lining, into the bloodstream, and all the way back around to the vocal cords. So that's going to take hours at least. So that means that water that you drink now is not going to have any immediate effect. So of course, stay hydrated in general. It's important for your general health, and your vocal cords, being part of your body, do need to stay hydrated. But drinking water during a rehearsal or during a voice lesson will not help with your vocal cord hydration specifically. So now that that's debunked, why don't we think about why we actually drink during rehearsals or while we sing? Well, for many of us, we think that we need to do it because we have a feeling of dryness. Now, I would first say that a lot of that feeling is not actual dryness, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if you are experiencing the actual sensation of dryness in the throat, I think it's quite likely that you are taking inhalations that are sort of noisy and aspirated. So something kind of like, can you hear that loud sound? So what I'm doing is kind of holding my vocal cords partially together. And then when I inhale in that noisy way, I'm dragging air backward over them. And indeed, that can create a sensation of dryness. So if that's what's happening for you, then maybe you want to take a look at the way that you breathe and work on a more silent inhalation, an inhalation where the throat is more open and the throat is more released. I have videos, I have one where you can breathe in with the mouth rounded in a shape of an O or an oo. But also, if you just want to think about releasing the throat and keeping it open as you allow the air to come in on inhalation, that should do the trick and help to relieve that feeling of actual dryness. But if you're in the great majority, it's not real dryness that's actually bothering you when you feel that you need to drink water. That urge to drink is actually more related to muscular tension in the neck and throat, rather than any actual sensation that there's dryness in the throat. So oftentimes if we sing a long phrase or a high note, maybe we sing with too much muscle or we squeeze in the throat. And at the end of that, our muscles really feel knotted up and tight. Well, we may have the urge to drink so that we can have the swallowing action and the sort of muscular reset that comes from it. So to get a sense of what I'm talking about, put a hand on your throat and just swallow. Can you feel how the muscles draw up? They kind of engage as they lift the larynx, and then a full release and kind of a nice softening of the muscles of the throat after that swallow. I am suggesting that when you feel like you need to drink during a rehearsal or between pieces during a voice lesson, that probably what you may be trying to do is release the vocal tension that you have accumulated over the singing of that phrase or that piece. And so the good news is the water has nothing to do with it. You don't actually need the water to create that muscular release. If you don't have any water handy, you could just swallow and that would create the muscular release. But even better, maybe you could take a look at what is creating the muscle tension that you need to relieve in the first place. Of course, most often, this is one of the sort of basic issues of bel canto technique. Maybe your placement is not high and forward enough, so you're needing to really overwork to project the sound because you're not taking advantage of your natural resonance up high and forward in the face. Or maybe you're not giving enough breath support, so you're forcing the muscles of the throat to overwork to kind of drive that sound out instead of allowing the sound to flow out based on that strong breath support. So of course, I have a million videos on how to engage your vocal support, how to get your support down low and into the body, and any of those things should help to both increase your vocal technique and reduce your dependence on drinking water so frequently during a rehearsal. I mean, think about it. Would you ever go to the Metropolitan Opera and see Tosca take a break between arias to drink a sip of water? It would never happen because those singers have their technique mastered to a point that they don't build up muscular tension and then need to relieve it by drinking. And of course, they've hydrated before the performance, so their hydration is maintained over the course of hours. So I hope that this comes to you as good news or something interesting to sort of look into and observe. Again, I don't want you to think of it as something that I'm criticizing you for doing. But if you're going into every rehearsal with a full water bottle and feeling like you need to drink every few minutes just to get through the rehearsal, I think that the water might be actually masking the real problem. And a little bit of applied technical work can really help to reduce that dependence and put your technique on a more solid footing. So I wish you good luck. If you have any specific questions about technical problems that you would like some help in overcoming, I would love to make a video about it or help you find a video I've already made that might be helpful. And in the meanwhile, if you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you come back next Thursday and every Thursday for more clear, fun voice education. Thank you for practicing.